Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, and I am bringing you the second set of KT Rolster versus Samsung Han, the resurgent Samsung Han, just doing fantastically the second round after a very dismal first round. We're going to have yet another game with storylines. We've got some Flash versus Firebat here. Now, the last time these two players met, I actually casted this game from a couple months ago, I believe, and I'll put a link to it in the or maybe I'll post this as a video response to that or something, because that last game was incredibly epic. 5 parts long, so long, and Flash batting his head against his keyboard. Don't know. Maybe he had something in his eye or something. I don't know. But so we're gonna have Flash here at the 12 o'clock position, and the Firebat hero in the bottom left. This is Neo Moon Glaive, it looks like, and catches if you can. That is, oh god. I always forget all. Oh man, I see Stork Firebat hero JB in the bottom right. I can't place the face, and I fail. I can't place the face, the bottom right picture, but it happens. Anyways, this should be awesome. Two fantastic TV tiers. Say what you will about Firebat Hero and his slumpiness as of late. His TVT is just very, very good. Samsung Khan versus Terran in general is just very, very good. It seems every single player has a solid to great versus Terran record. And Flash, obviously, we know that Flash is probably, well, the best TV tier right now, probably the best TV tier of all time. Absolutely phenomenal play from him, day in and day out. There is no, he's just a complete robot. He is absolute consistency in a box, and completely fantastic in actually he's great in every single matchup, but this is just one of those matchups that I think that he's particularly good at. TVZ and TVT, he is just particularly robotic and just gets wins. It's seemingly automatic wins, and that is just how Flash does it. And Flash normally goes for this weird build. I hope he does it again, because I like commenting on it every time I see him do a TVT. He produces like a combined Goliath tank force that, like, it's like a pure counter to every, I don't understand it, but like somehow it's like it counters FD, somehow it counters 2-fact, it counters Wraith all at the same time. So it's a pretty sweet build. I'm sure that there's some subtlety about it. Probably it's a little bit slower or something like that, so other players don't necessarily use it as much. But it's a pretty sweet build, and I expect that we'll see it again. Normally we do see it from him. I've seen it so many times that I almost feel like it's automatic that he's going to go for it again. It looks like Flash is going to get the scout in here first. That could give him a little bit of an advantage, but probably not too much. It's just a scout, honestly. Here in TVT at the beginning, usually it doesn't matter. It looks like both players should be producing Marines as well, and no one's doing anything out of the ordinary. And really, that's all the scouting SCV is looking to see if someone did something crazy like a 14cc or something like that. First Marine is out for Firebat here, just going to chase this SCV around. Should be okay in terms of dealing with it before he has to make any decisions in terms of going possibly starports or throwing down a second factory or revealing too much information in any way, shape, or form. So he'll be fine there. A couple of Marines blocking the ramp for Flash, so he's also going to get that blocking. But I feel like there's really no scouting information advantage here from either player, even though Flash didn't get that scout, and it's just didn't stay alive long enough to really matter. We do see a command contender coming up here for Flash, so he'll be going for a fast expo. Looks like Firebat here is doing the exact same thing, possibly just reading Flash's mind, only he is not going to have to float his command center, so he's just going to build it right there, right in place. So no real advantage for either player, just going to be essentially mirror builds here. So we're going to move straight into what amounts to the mid-game. We're going to have some Vulture play probably going on, seeing if someone could maybe get on a ramp over a Vulture, maybe try and get a little bit of an advantage that way, get a couple hit advantage, just so that way they can maybe try and get a run by or something like that. But don't expect to see any large confrontations here in the next few minutes. It's going to take some time for these two players to macro forces, produce a couple extra factories. We could possibly see a transition into some sort of dropship play early on. 4 Vulture drops, possibly a 4 Goliath drop, something like that could also be very, very effective. We see a Machine Shop going down for Firebat Hero. Flash's Machine Shop already up and spinning, so we'll see whether that's for speed mines or siege. I expect it'll be the Vulture upgrades first. At least one of the Vulture upgrades will be coming up initially, and then he'll transition into tanks once he starts actually producing them. We do see a couple vultures from Firebat Hero kind of getting here, maybe picking off the SCV, managed to pick off the SCV, doing a little bit of damage there, trying to protect the damaged vulture, doing a good job picking off a Marine as well. So Firebat Hero gets a little bit of advantage here in the first engagement, picking off an SCV and a Marine, and only taking some damage on his vulture. So good little play there, little advantage there for him. And then in mirror matchup, this is exactly what you're trying to do. Just trying to gain little advantages. Picking off a Marine here makes it so that way his barracks can survive a little bit longer when it floats around, trying to give him sight. So at least in that first engagement, normally you just see barracks, usually engineering base, science facilities. Those come a lot later. And those kinds of floating buildings won't be in play yet. But initially, it's the barracks and how much information you can get with your barracks. And with only one Marine, it's going to take a long time for that barracks to go down. Well, it looks like Firebat Hero has also only produced one Marine, so that barracks is also going to live for a long time for Flash. You might even just put it over that in that valley there, that unwalkable valley in between those mountain ridges. Got a lot of vultures out for Firebat Hero as well. About the same force for Flash. Seeing completely mirror builds here. Just absolute perfection here by both players, and this is just a very, very optimized build by both of them, and it will all come down to a strategical fight. And I do really enjoy seeing when this type of play occurs. Very strategical fight, so that we were not running into build order victories here, and very cool to see. Speed is completed for Flash, or I'm sorry, for Firebat Hero, and Flash, we'll see what he has. I mean, he's finished some upgrade or another. It doesn't look like he finished seed, so it's probably speed for his own vultures. Yeah, it is speed for his own vultures. And these vultures for Firebat here actually get in here, picking up 3, 4 SCVs, 5 SCVs here, and should actually be able to run away. Might be able to, losing a couple SCVs, or losing a couple vultures, but for the most part, doing a great job here, doing a ton of damage, floating more vultures in here as well. Once they complete mines, they'll also be able to throw down some mines, which will be able to harass the Goliath and tank play as well. A couple Goliaths are out for Flash, going to be able to take down that barracks. Hopefully he produces a couple more factories before it goes down, just so that way he doesn't run into a problem later on where he has got to reproduce that barracks and it'll take too long. Another vulture trying to get a little bit of run, but I feel that might have just been a rallied vulture, a misrallied vulture. No real reason for a single vulture to really charge in there. So a little bit of a misplay there by Firebat Hero. Maybe if it wasn't a misclick, he might have been hoping for maybe getting a little bit of a run, but he should have known that it wasn't really going to be too open. Just a single vulture, though, not a big deal. And Marine coming in here, detecting the mines at least, being picked off by the vultures. And the Goliath's going to come in here, going to try and clean up as many of the mines as they can before that scan runs out. And it looks like they're going to get most of them in a second level of mines also being scanned by Flash. So Flash doing a fantastic job here of clearing away these minefields. And a couple mines actually here might actually go off. No, not actually going to go off. And he's got to be careful. Doesn't want any of these mines to go off on his Goliath and weaken them too much. If they do get weakened, you could see vultures just fly in there and pick off the damaged Goliaths. We see some of Firebat's actually vultures going across the left side of the map, maybe going to go for a backside attack and try and pick up some more vultures or some more SCVs. But it looks like he maybe has abandoned that theory. No, he's got 3 vultures going to try and do it. But I think he waited just a little bit too long. Too many vultures there now for Flash. Should be able to stop this pretty effectively. Although he's going to lose 1, 2 SCVs at least, maybe a third, and now some mines actually going off, doing some damage to the Goliath, so he's got to be more careful now. Probably needs to throw down another scan. I don't know how many more scans he has. He only has 2 comm sets, and he's already used minimum 2 scans, probably also scanned the base, so probably has already used 3 scans. You see the first tanks out for Firebat here as well, also getting into the fight here, sieging up here, and going to start trying to establish some map position. Flash definitely has a little bit of an advantage in terms of map position, where he is going to be able to siege up his tanks on that line. Provided he doesn't lose his tank line, he'll have a little bit of an advantage in terms of where he places it, just putting it a little bit more forward than Firebat Heroes, but it's not all that significant. I wouldn't in any way here. Still, the game hangs very much into the balance, and no real advantages for either play. That barrack's still wandering around for Flash, giving him fantastic information here, and Flash looks like he's going to try and do a little bit of a run by here, going to try and do some damage. A couple tanks coming behind as well for Firebat here to pick off a couple of these vultures, but he's got to be careful, doesn't want to let those vultures get into his natural expansion and maybe get some more kills, but it looks like Flash is not going to be going for that. Actually going to retreat, doesn't want his forces to get caught there, and this is actually a very entertaining TVT, guys. We're only about 9 minutes into the game, and we've actually had a lot more action than we often see in TVT games. Usually you see a lot more turtling, you usually see a lot more tank play, but this is a heavy vulture play. Is very entertaining, and both these players playing it very, very well. I feel like just overall I would put a slight advantage overall for Firebat Hero, but it's still so close.